So this week's designer series is Chris de Bode. Now, Chris de Bode is actually a photojournalist, but I'm just trying to give you a variety of designers. So Chris started traveling and taking photographs after leaving school and began his photograph career while working as a professional mountain climbing instructor. So now he's a freelance photojournalist based in Amsterdam. His first work was for commercial and editorial clients in Holland. Then he traveled to the Middle East, where he documented both sides of the conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians. His widely published work ranges from portraits of earthquake victims in El Salvador and casualties of war in northern Uganda to reportage of the construction and consequences of the Three Gorges Dam on the Yangtze River in China. He is currently completing a project on cycle races across the world that includes reportage of the tours of Colombia, Senegal, Eritrea, and Qatar. So these are the questions. Are photojournalism and ethics connected? Yes. Taking pictures is subjective in that you can direct the viewer in a specific way, so you have to be careful about telling the truth. I can't change the world, but I try to show what is happening in a direct way. I try to make pictures that people can easily relate to. I believe in seducing people with a beautiful image and then getting the message across. That's the way I photograph, and that's the way I edit in the end. In that sense, I am pretty present in my pictures. My hand is there. People are struck by the directness of my communicating. So in some sense, I succeeded in transmitting the message. So can you ensure you are telling the truth? I hardly ever take pictures of subjects I know nothing about. I gather information and talk with people so that I can make the right decisions in showing the subject. But I don't hesitate. For example, when I take a portrait, to intervene, to ask people to move to the left or right, or to perform an action. In reportage, it's a very different thing. It's very different. Things just happen as they do. I'm very hesitant about directing the opinion of the viewer. For example, if I'm asked to photograph a demonstration of Moroccan youth here in Amsterdam and to show them negatively, I won't orchestrate it. That's not right. You can't stigmatize people because the media would like you to. I was asked to do a story about the murder of Theo van Gogh. I went with a journalist who spoke to various people asking if they knew the murderer, of his family, his mother. He asked people who were Moroccan but were not involved with the murder. I refused to take street pictures of them. It would stigmatize them. Instead, I went to the murderer's house and photographed the washing line with its wooden pegs to show that he was also doing his laundry just like you and me. So what's your attitude to image manipulation? I believe I am allowed to change pictures in a way that I would have done in a dark room using chemicals. So I can clean them and change the contrast. I will make things darker and lighter so the viewer's attention is attracted to the lighter spots. In that sense, I manipulate the viewer. I try to make the subject in my pictures as strong as possible. I work quite a bit within these limits because I think it can make pictures stronger and more dramatic. So is photojournalism always political? It's very rare to see photographs that are really unbiased and give freedom to draw different conclusions. Once a photographer is working on a story that sets out to explore a problem, there is an agenda. Most of the time, photojournalism is political in that it reveals the photographer's private opinion, but transmitting a very strong political view is quite rare. So are there publications you wouldn't work for? It depends how publications use my pictures. If it's out of context, I feel very upset. It doesn't happen very often. I've got my favorite newspapers, of course, and I have a new series of pictures. I will contact them and not the ones that I'm unsympathetic to. In many cases, the pictures are sold through agencies, but they are pretty careful about the usage of pictures. Broadly, I want everybody to be able to show my pictures. I believe that I am only the messenger, and that the more people that look at my message, the better. So I don't have a strong opinion about which publications reproduce my work. So do you feel compromised by clients? Nowadays, people contact me because they have seen my photos and they like what I'm doing. So they give me a free hand. We talk about things and I am briefed in a way. But I think it's my way of looking at the world that people want to publish. Time is a constraint. I am pretty well trained to find metaphors for different subjects. So if I can't succeed at finding the real story or the real event, I make a strong metaphor which expresses that problem. So time-wise and money-wise, I have to compromise. But I think that's part of the challenge, finding the pieces of the puzzle that convey the story. Who do you feel responsible to? The subject of the picture. So do you worry about upsetting the viewer? I don't mind if people feel uncomfortable or worried when they look at a picture, but I don't see the need to show excessive violence or things that are disrespectful to the people within the picture. Are you ever in danger? Not often, because I normally work with NGOs and so have contacts on the ground before I go in somewhere. I always make sure that the moment I arrive, there is someone to look after me. It can be a driver or a local staff or NGO, people who know more about the place than I do. That makes me feel comfortable. As soon as that is arranged, I feel free to walk around and do my work. I wouldn't go to cities that are under fire. I wouldn't mind going to northern Iraq, but I wouldn't go to real danger zones. I like working with NGOs. It works with my personal situation too. I've got a family. I can't be away from home for too long. I can go for a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, but never a month or so, and all NGO assignments are pretty short. Is it a distressing occupation? Yes, it's lonely. I've got my little book with me in my hotel room. I make notes to release tension. I experience situations that are so sad. In a way, I've learned to be more empathetic than sympathetic because I have to protect myself. I work sometimes with Doctors Without Borders, and their professional attitude helps me dealing with some tragic situations. But I don't want to become so professional that things become normal that are not normal at all. So you have to be alert to your inner self. I try never to be ignorant of a situation or say, shit happens, this is Africa, whatever. I try to be as sensitive as I can within certain limitations, or else I can't function anymore. So do you do self-funded personal projects? Yes. Right now I'm working on a book about cycling races in third world countries. I fund it through other publications. It's my thing and a boy's dream to do it. I explore socioeconomics or political situations through sports. It's quite hard financially to produce self-initiated projects. I don't look for subsidies or grants. I always try to do it on my own. But within these restrictions, I love doing it. It gives me freedom, as I always try to find subjects that are really close to my heart. This book will be finished early next year, and then I'll try to find something new. That's how it all started. In a way, pursuing some dreams, approaching them with positive energy. So, that was Chris de Bode, a photojournalist. Part 7 in the Designer series. Have a great day.